Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. In the beginning, God had one law. Don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then he gave Moses the 10 Commandments. And now we have municipal, state, and federal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws that might impact you without you knowing it. Listen to Talk Law Radio every Saturday and Sunday afternoons if you want to on 9:30 a.m. The Answer at 4:30 in the afternoon. Or you can watch on Facebook or YouTube, also podcasts everywhere, or talklawradio.com. Go to talklawradio.com and search for the archived episodes where you can learn about all kinds of other laws: business law, estate planning law, probate, guardianship, trust administration, Medicaid planning, and veterans benefits, as well as federal law and constitutional law like we're talking about today. I've been talking about the SAVE Act, which is a new federal registration to vote law. And I'm going to say something really shocking. We already have a federal law on voting, and it's in 18 U.S.C. 611. It prohibits non-citizens from voting. Did you know that? Call me at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867, and let me know what you think about this already existing law that prohibits non-citizens from voting in federal elections. It's a criminal offense if they vote for offices such as president, vice president, and members of Congress. So I'm going to tell you about a situation where this actually happened. It's a case called In Re Fitzpatrick. The offender was a native and citizen of Peru whose non-immigrant status was adjusted to that of lawful permanent resident of the United States on June 4th, 2004. So a lawful permanent resident is still not a citizen. On August 5th, a year later, 2005, she applied for an Illinois driver's license and signed a voter registration application in which she checked a box indicating that she was a United States citizen. That was a lie. She wasn't a citizen. She filed an application for naturalization another year later, 2007, in which she indicated that she had registered to vote and had actually voted in an election in the United States. This is a real court case, folks. So for those of you that are saying that non-citizens are not voting, this is an actual example of it. So she voted. She put on her application for naturalization that she had voted. And on January 2008, the Department of Homeland Security issued her a notice to appear, alleging that she voted in the general election in Illinois in November 2006 in violation of this existing law, 18 U.S.C. 611. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. And charged her to be removed from the United States under Section 237A6 of the Immigration and Nationality Act as an alien who voted in violation of the law. She was also charged for falsely representing herself to be a United States citizen. So she said that she shouldn't be removed because she didn't intend to violate the statute. She doesn't dispute that she confessed to all of this, that she did vote in the general election, and she knew she was not a United States citizen. So the court opinion says, in meeting its burden of proof to establish the respondent's removability, DHS does not need to show that the respondent knew she was committing an unlawful act by voting in the election. The statute, 18 U.S.C. 611, contains no specific intent requirement. Instead, it's a general intent statute which does not require proof that the alien knew she was violating the law. So the law here is that an alien who votes in an election involving candidates for federal office in violation of 18 U.S.C. 611 is removable under Section 237A6 Big A of the Immigration and Nationality Act. So there you have it. It actually did happen, and the existing federal law did not stop it from happening. It only criminalizes it after the fact. And so, given all of this information that you're now learning that the mainstream media doesn't tell you about, does that change your opinion? Call me at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867, or comment live on Facebook now. Go to Facebook, search for Talk Law Radio, look for the Lady Justice logo in the red, white, and blue colors. We're live right now. Some people say that it's not constitutional for the federal government to make laws about elections, that's reserved to the states. So now I'm going to talk about the Constitution. United States Constitution, Article 1, Section 4, Clause 1 says, "The times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. But the Congress may at any time, by law, make or alter such regulations except as to the place of choosing senators." So the Constitution gives authority to the states to make election law, but Congress may at any time, by law, make or alter such regulations. And they actually did. And I just told you about one of those laws, and here's another one. The National Voter Registration Act of 1993. This isn't new. In fact, the SAVE Act is an amendment to the National Voter Registration Act of 1993. So for those politicians that are saying it's not constitutional for Congress and the Senate to make a law about voting and registration and elections are just plain wrong. And if you think I'm wrong, call me right now at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867, or post a comment on Facebook or YouTube, or email me at host@talklawradio.com. That's HOST@talklawradio.com. So the National Voter Registration Act of 1993 was known as the Motor Voter Law because it established a law that required states to allow people to register to vote when they were getting their driver's license. So it's an actual law. And I have another court case for you. Today's Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2026, and I found a case called Foster versus Love. Isn't that cute? On Valentine's Day, we get to talk about a court case involving a person named Love. Well, it's funny to me. So in this case, Foster versus Love, in Louisiana, there was a law that said there would be an open primary. This was back in 1975 to occur before the Uniform Federal Election Day in November. And the Supreme Court had to deal with this. The Supreme Court delivered a unanimous opinion and held that Louisiana's open primary is applied to select among congressional candidates. In October, it conflicted with federal law, and to that extent was void. And so this is an example of how federal law superseded the state law. And so for those of you who say that it's not constitutional for federal law to be involved in elections because you think that's reserved to the states through Article 1 of the Constitution, you're wrong, because the Supreme Court decided this case and said that the federal law was constitutional and the state law had to fall in line. There's another case where the state of Arizona tried to require people registering to vote to show their ID. And so the National Voter Registration Act, the one I was just mentioning, required states to accept and use a uniform federal form to register voters for federal elections. Well, the state of Arizona was using that form, but they also said you have to present an ID when you're registering to vote. And this court case is called Arizona versus Intertribal Council of Arizona Incorporated. And the court here said that requiring the ID altered the federal statute, which just required the form. And the form just requires that you say that whether or not you're a citizen. And so if you swear under oath that you're a citizen, they just have to process that paperwork, and unless they have facts that indicate otherwise, they just have to accept it. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. This is Talk Law Radio.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.